Today, I want to talk a little bit about the concept of community as it relates to the supposed gaming community. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. Today, I want to talk a little bit about this idea that we're all part of a big gaming community. And in a lot of aspects, I don't agree with that idea. I think that we all share an interest, but does that really make us a community? And so consider this for a moment. There are a lot of fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, and that's to put it lightly. So, do all of those people belong to a community, or are all those people in the same fandom? I would say that it's that second one. And I would say that there is a difference. See, we can all be fans of the same thing, but not be part of the same community, okay? Like, there are parts of the MCU fan base who think Thanos was right. I don't know what to tell those people. I've got the feeling that they really don't get along with some other parts of the fan base, and if they ever interacted, and it's the interaction part that I think is lacking for trying to say that there's a community, because I think there's a lot of people that watch videos, that play Dungeons & Dragons and other RPGs, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, or whatever else, that don't interact. And if you never interact, you're not part of a community, okay? Also, there's a whole deal with size when it comes to community. Once you get beyond a certain size, you're not really a community anymore, because of the whole interaction thing. Because apparently human beings have a limited capacity for, like, remembering stuff about other people. And if I remember right, it's something like about 150 people. Once you get beyond that, you just got like some broad strokes about some of those folks. So, now you could argue that there are community elements in some of the stuff that happens on YouTube, like, like say Bob the Builder, or I think it's just Bob Builder, Bob the World Builder. That's what it is. Say he posts a video, okay? Then like he posted the video recently about the summit that he got invited to, okay? And then there's another individual who I'm not going to name, because he does everything he can to draw attention to himself and thrives on this attention, and he's a lunatic. So he posted a video about this, and it was a response video. His video was just reeked of desperation and envy, as a lot of his videos do. It's just a whole lot of, oh, I can't believe they'd invite someone like that, someone that showed so much disrespect for D&D, as if D&D is a person, not a brand, that cares. And just a whole lot of crap like that. And you could tell just the envy is just burning him up. But he's sitting there like, I've made 4,000 videos, which he has, because again, lunatic, about D&D, and I, where's my invitation? He didn't say that, but again, you can tell. Okay, not to get too sidetracked here, but the fact some of you out there know who I'm talking about, though, tells me there's a little bit of community stuff here. Okay, so then you have that, and then you have other people, interact in the comments, or maybe someone else will do a video about how this person is just an attention-seeking loon, and round it goes. So you kind of have interaction, but it's more of like a public letter on a message board, on like an old-timey message board where you literally had a board you'd post a message on, and then someone else comes along and tacks up their response. It's a lot more like that than a digital message board, which oddly is far more communal, because there you directly interact. I post my thoughts, you post your thoughts, we go back and forth. We have an interaction. We talk. Well, you don't do that so much with YouTube videos. This is just me talking to you. If you feel strongly, you'll put something in the comments, which I encourage. Or if you want to, you'll post a video in response. But unless the two of us sit in front of a camera in person, then there's not going to be a real interaction on YouTube. Now, there could be interaction if we just sat together somewhere and talked, but, my point was YouTube. The other would constitute interaction too, just to be clear. So, in that respect, I really feel that there's really not community as I think most people envision it. Now, everyone calls it the gaming community, but it's really a few people producing stuff and a lot of people buying stuff, but there's not like some big meetings. Now there kind of are with conventions. Like I've gone to Gen Con every year. It's been in Indianapolis. Okay, so I believe this year's the 20th year minus the one COVID year, so I guess technically the 19th year. But even though it came here 20 years ago, I think it was 2003. So, that's kind of community. Okay, that's everyone together in one place. For obviously a given definition of everyone. It's everyone that's there. That's not everyone in the supposed community. And that gives you potentially have a chance to interact with the people who actually make the games. Or at least you did back when Wizards of the Coast bothered to show up to the convention founded by Gary Gygax that ultimately was a means to promote Dungeons & Dragons. When they can somehow justify the expense. It's ridiculous that they don't show up to Gen Con. Beyond ridiculous. So, or Paizo for Pathfinder, the folks that make Call of Cthulhu. If you're a Battletech fan, the Catalyst folks are there. I think like everyone that works for Catalyst is there, in fact, so they're a very small operation. It's kind of amazing the amount of output they have for how small they are. So, they, and Goodman Games folks, and they look, for whatever it's worth, from what I saw last year, which was just an inkling, I didn't get the chance to play, but just like how they handled the raffles and everything, and the Wizard van that they had there, and I think those folks are probably having a blast, by the way. So, if you want to, from what I'm seeing, if you want to have a fun time, go check out Goodman Games. They make Dungeon Crawl Classics and Mutant Crawl Classics are their two big games. And then I think they've got a few variants, like they've got a Weird West variant, which I believe Brad picked up, so we'll be doing some videos on that at some point, because that's definitely a system we've been looking at because the difficulty we have getting everyone together for videos, same problem we have getting everyone together for D&D. So we're trying to balance out making headway in our last campaign and the desire to try some other systems. But as soon as we do, we will be doing videos on those. We just want to get some actual play in before we start talking about them. So we're not just talking in the abstract. But the system itself looks really fun. And like I said, those people look like they were having a blast. So, and there, see now those folks, at least the ones running their game there, and their road crew people, that's kind of a little community there, you know. But overall, I just feel like there's this idea promoted of the gaming community it's basically smoke and mirrors. You know, it's mythological, which I guess kind of fits given the games, but you know, it just, to me anyway, that's kind of the way it seems. So I bring this up for a couple reasons. I'll get to the well. Okay, I'll start with the core driving reason I bring this up, and then I'll get to my idea to actually encourage community after that. So here goes. Hopefully you've stuck with me this far through my ramblings. Here's kind of the point, and the 2 points. Okay, so number one, if we are truly a community, then there's a decision we need to make. What is the purpose of these games? Now, it doesn't have to be like a singular answer. I don't expect it to be. I don't expect it to be an easy answer. But to me, it seems like there's a subsection of the community that just doesn't understand what the point of these games are, or think that they're for something other than what they are. And, you know, maybe they can be shoehorned into that other thing, but they don't think so. Not easily, anyway. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, so I've not played first and second edition. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I have. I do want to at some point, you know, because I want to experience firsthand the root of the game. I have played third. I've played at least some battle stuff in fourth, but not really an in-depth game of any kind, and I've played 5th edition. So, what does it have to do with what I'm talking about? Okay, 1st and 2nd edition, it's pretty clear the game's about dungeon crawling, like going into the lair, getting treasure, possibly killing the things in the dungeon. That's the game. Okay, from everything I've seen, and I've watched a few videos of people trying to explain the differences, where they, you know, these people whose opinions I trust, because they seem to sync up on 3rd through 5th, so I'm going to trust them on 1st and 2nd. That seems to be the purpose of the game. And then somewhere along the way, we kind of got into like the theatricality of our characters, and then 4th edition tried to be World of Warcraft essentially, and then now in 5th edition it's a whole, the way people play it, not necessarily the rules, but the way people seem to think that the game is supposed to be played, is a whole lot of kids from theater class seem to have come over and think that that's what the game's about. Whereas if you just look at the rules are for combat. Like, that's it. Like, the vast majority of the rules are a combat system. So, the rules seem to be for fighting, not for talking. And definitely not for acting. But that seems to be what people have gotten the impression the game is for, and it seems to be a prevailing impression, at least for 5th edition. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here. Like, is the game is it a combat game? Is it a theater game? Is it a combat heavy game that has theater bits? Is it a theater heavy game that has occasional combat bits? You know, and without knowing that, you don't know where to guide the game, okay? Because Wizards of the Coast will continue to make new editions of the game, because that's what you have to do when sales slump. So this means you have to change rules, otherwise people just keep the old rule book and use it. So you need to know what your game is supposed to be so that you know where the rules are deficient to change, to improve. Okay? But if your game is just trying to be anything and everything, then it's going to be nothing. I mean, you'll be able to sell it to a lot of people because, you know, the masses want bland crap. You know, that's how you sell things to the masses. So on a business front, okay, fine, good plan. You know, totally concede that point. But like for a game, like to say something, you're not saying anything. You're saying that we're standing on the shoulders of giants and using their name to sell things. That's what you're saying. You're saying I'm creatively bankrupt. And so, I mean, you know, you want to do that, go right ahead. It's not really my cup of tea. And what me and Brad, Chad, and our other gentlemen are working on, you know, is hopefully not just bland crap. You know, obviously posterity will have to judge that one. But, you know, we're trying not to make it that. So yeah, like we have to, as a community such as we are, we have to decide what is the actual point of the game, you know, and not just on that front. You know, is it a lighthearted joke fest, which again, some people have decided that's apparently what it is, and I'm not one of those people. There's a difference between having jokes and being a joke fest. Having jokes, fine, you know. People tell jokes. It's the thing, you know. I tell jokes. I'd like to believe successfully, but again, that's up to everyone else. So, you know, but I'm not a comedian. I don't pretend to be. And I think the joke fest, it just destroys any hope of taking the game seriously. And if you don't take the game seriously, it's just going to break down. Okay? I don't understand, and maybe this is a flaw I have, I don't understand how people actually continue campaigns when all they're doing is joking around. Because I don't understand what you're doing. You can do that without playing the game. You're just adding complication to it. Okay, you can just get around and talk if you want to do that. Instead, you're presumably causing headache for the GM, DM, whatever, who's spending time actually setting things up, and then you're just turning it into a joke. And so, again, I just don't understand how people keep that kind of thing rolling. But that's just me. I mean, if I was the DM, I'd quit at a certain point. Or I'd show them that they're going to get roughly the same amount of the amount of seriousness that they're taking it. That's how serious I'm going to take it, and things are going to go downhill in a hurry. So, anyway, a little side note there. So, these are all things that need to be answered, and these don't have to be universal answers to every game. These don't have to be a universal set of decisions that affect every system or every table, but we need to know what something resembling a majority opinion is. And, you know, the games need to be geared towards that so that they do kind of channel you in a certain direction. But, you know, still leaving things open, I guess. So anyway, that's one thought, because I see people that just want to remove, and other folks other than me have done videos on this, where people come up and just want things removed out of the game that, some of it's just unrealistic. Like, there are people that just don't want there to be conflict in the game. Well, at that point, what the hell are you doing? Like, games at their core are conflict resolution of some kind. So there's going to be conflict, and in D&D it's going to be physical conflict among your characters and NPCs and things like that. Now, not every single fight has to be a fight. You can do all kinds of like political intrigue and skullduggery and all kinds of things like that, even though the rules really don't help you at all for that for 5th edition. But you can try. My God, you can give it a go. The rules aren't going to stop you. So, and that's definitely a campaign idea. But even there's conflict. It's just not going to be physical conflict. You're going to be talking about like bribery and trying to blackmail people and things like that, or trying to discover who's blackmailing somebody. You can get into things like that too, but that's still conflict. And I just think that certain things have given some people the impression that the game can be anything, and it really can't be. Like, it can do a lot, but there are limits. And I think collectively we need to have a little bit more of a definition of what to generally expect at any rate. I guess that's probably what I should really be saying there. And so that whenever new people come into the game, we can tell them up front, like, yeah, you might have seen this on someone's web series or some Yahoo on YouTube. I mean, who listens to those people? But by the way, keep listening to me. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's way funnier than it should be to me personally, because I've also come across someone else's channel who literally spends probably half of their videos just wailing and moaning about other people on YouTube and how you shouldn't listen to them for all kinds of reasons. And then we'll make videos talking about why you should listen to him, sometimes for those same reasons. My personal favorite being just because someone says they've played the game for 4 decades, don't trust them. Followed by, you should trust me because I've played the game for 4 decades. And I'm like, really? Like, you didn't think that through very well, like, at all. And just engages in rampant hyperbole. 90% of DMs do this and 90% of DMs do that. As if he's ever even met 10% of DMs. Forget 90%. And then the claims made are ludicrous. 90% of DMs play out in public. I'm like, the hell they do. If they did, people wouldn't have trouble finding a game. Like, I don't know. The dude's just desperate for subs, which he also complains about. If people would listen to me and actually subscribe, I'd have 10,000 subscribers. Just like, no, you wouldn't. You're an ass. Like, that's why you don't have 10,000 subscribers. Every time someone comments on something, well, I didn't say that, and that's exactly what he said. Or, well, see, now you're not backing it up with any kind of evidence. And I'm like, you just spouted off total nonsense with no evidence. Why should someone talking back to you have evidence? So, yeah. So, sorry for the diversion there. I just had to throw out the don't listen to anyone on YouTube, then me being some Yahoo on YouTube, then followed up by, but listen to me. So, for the record, listen to whoever you want to listen to. But if you think whatever I'm telling you sounds suspect, get a second opinion. Not going to hurt my feelings. I do whenever I listen to people on YouTube. So, and you always should. Just because, for those of you out there who have subscribed, and do watch the videos a lot. I appreciate the hell out of the fact you do that, and so do Brad and Chad. But I will never claim to be the final authority on basically anything that doesn't have to do with me personally, which I probably won't even talk about on this channel. So on that front, definitely get a range of opinions and go with what you think sounds correct. Unless we're talking factual stuff like the sky being blue, and don't be pedantic with, well, what if it's cloudy? Doesn't change the fact the sky above it's still blue, okay? You know what I mean. And I say that because, well, you've seen one of my co-hosts, he gets a little pedantic. So anyway, don't even know where I was now, folks. Oh, so that's collectively we just need to have like a welcome to the gaming world, here's what to expect kind of thing. And, you know, just so people know right up front, like, hey, if you're looking to avoid conflict, this ain't the place to do it. You know, if you're looking to recreate the oppressive reality that we live in in late stage capitalism and, you know, whatever, you know, forget it. It ain't happening. Probably. I mean, I'm sure you can find a table that's going to do that, but, you know, good luck. You and your first world problems can, you know, go deal with that. Meanwhile, the rest of us would just like to escape all the baloney that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis or see on the news or whatever. So, and not be constantly reminded of it. So, the other, my opinion on how to actually build a community. Well, you need to encourage interaction. So, how do you do that? Okay, well, first of all, since this seems to be the medium that we're going to talk about here, YouTube, one, do like I do, and like everyone else that's smart on YouTube does, encourage people to leave comments and hope they actually do it, and then actually engage with them in the comments, okay? I try to answer every comment we get, okay? There's only been a handful that I haven't, because there's just nothing I can say to follow up. I suppose I should at least go ahead and say thank you for commenting. I should probably start doing that too. So, apologies to those of you out there I didn't at least say that. But that's the bare minimum. You know, encourage people to open up a Twitter account and engage on Twitter. Okay, say you don't want to do that. Understandable. Maybe you don't like Elon Musk for some reason. You know, okay. I have no real opinion on the guy one way or the other. Then find a message board. Okay, interact there. Talk to people. You know, go to multiple message boards. You know, because each message board has its own, you know, its own rhythms, its own clicks. And for those of you out there who don't know what on earth I'm talking about, these are sites where you can post your thoughts, you know, with a username on a publicly visible board, and then other people will respond, and you can engage in a conversation. There's a little bit of a delay, obviously, because you gotta wait for them to post. You're not face to face, but it is very communal. And like I said, different ones have different feels to them. Now they haven't completely died out, thankfully, because I happen to prefer that method of communication, because it's long form. It's not relegated to 140 characters or whatever, so you can really express yourself. It's easier to quote people. It's easier to quote specific sections of what they said, and there's still nothing stopping you from posting links to videos, pictures, whatever. So, you know, do that. Now, here on YouTube, I mentioned something in the video I did about the using the Forgotten Realms as the base campaign setting for 5th edition. And it's an idea I've put a little bit more thought into, I think. But I'm going to try to explain it here. Basically, there, I said that, you know, spoilers, for that video, which you should watch, hopefully. But if you don't, I'm about to give you the gist of it right here. I said that I don't think there's any problem at all using Forgotten Realms for the base campaign setting. I think the Forgotten Realms itself is fine. The only problems are because of how Wizards of the Coast has chosen to present it, or actually not present it, as the case is in this particular case. Sorry, it's been redundant. A little bit of the old Austin Powers, allow myself to introduce myself moment there for you. So, excuse me for a moment, folks. So, then I also outlined what I think would be the best approach. And the best approach, in my opinion, is you explain a region, like a city, state, a country, something, a limited region. All the major players, some of the history, explain who the neighbors are, like by name, with very minor details. Maybe like the kingdom of I don't know, Noodleville over here with King Ramen on the throne, and the Plato kingdom over here, and whatever. But don't go into a bunch of detail on them. Don't go into a whole lot of detail on the populace, the region, or anything. Leave that for the DMs to flesh out themselves. Okay, give them the starting area and enough to go on that they could just adventure there if they wanted to. So, real detail. But then be really vague about everything around them in their immediate area, and then, maybe just have a map with no names on it from there, if you want to go that far. And so from there, leave it to them to fill in. Okay? So now, taking that idea, if someone really wanted to build a community, what they should do is take that concept and essentially make like a challenge to the folks here on YouTube and to message boards and every place else. Spread it as far as they can to be like, here's a base. What can you build with this? And so people will then take that up, and they'll post videos about what they've done. They'll post it on the message boards. They'll post pictures. They'll post things on Reddit. I don't know if D&D Beyond has a forum per se, but I know it's got comments for things. So if there's a forum section, there too. If not, like the Facebook page for Wizards of the Coast or something, and other Facebook fan groups. And so we'll see everyone's creativity at play, and then maybe hold a vote on, who's good and whatnot. But then also encourage people to be like, okay, now that you've seen what everyone else has done, what can you do with these ideas? Which ideas do you like? Let's see your mixes and matches, and like the second gen version of this idea, and so on. Things like that will build a sense of community. You'll have shared experiences from people. You'll have interactions from people. You could have, this could be a kind of thing you could do at conventions. Give someone have a contest. You'll have, maybe you'll have the whole convention. Maybe you'll have like an hour or two where you get like the pamphlet that explains the starting zone, then you've got a map, and it's up to you to fill in, nations and descriptions and things like that. I would probably have it so that like it's something you could pick up the first day of a convention, and as long as you have it like to them, like let's take Gen Con. Gen Con is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's say you could pick it up as early as Thursday morning, or maybe even have it on a website somewhere beforehand, but you could pick up one on Thursday. And then, but don't give people too much time, because part of the idea here is speed. So maybe have it pop up on Wednesday, so people, have a little bit of time to get some ideas, but not enough time to write a novel for each part of the country. And then have them get it in say noon Saturday, that would give whoever's running the contest, that'd give them some time, to sort through them, such that 3 o'clock on Sunday, 2, 3 o'clock, because it stops at 4, that they have some kind of prize. Maybe the prize is a free trip the following year to Gen Con. Maybe it's some D&D stuff. Just depends on who's putting it on. Doesn't have to be Hasbro. Could be Goodman Games. Could be Paizo. Could be anybody. Could be just a group of people. And then have their ceremony, and have a couple different awards. Like the best single edition, the best overall thing, and and post it online. Let people see it. Let people be encouraged by it. And again, the whole shared experience thing. Oh man, my entry didn't make it. But here's what I did. And have people be able to get their stuff back or whatever. Or if you're really committed to the idea, afterwards post it all online. And then have a fan award for online or something. Something like that. Things like that, repeatedly throughout the year. That would build a community. That would get everyone talking about, the same topic from the same base point. Even if it is just among their D&D group, or on their message board. But then those conversations will take off wherever. Okay, that's community. That's the kind of thing I would do if I were trying to bring the community together. Because there are definitely factions within the community, and some of them are so stupid, just ridiculously stupid. But it is what it is. People do that crap. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on community, the fact we don't really have one, how to make one. Let me know what you guys think. Just do my watchers out there, are you a community? Are we a community? Are you part of a community? Did you watch the show Community? I didn't. Although they have a couple D&D episodes. Although I think one of them is banned now. Which again, stupid, but So anyway, folks, hopefully you got something out of this and stuck around to this point. Hit us up on Twitter, comments down the bottom. Let's build a community here. Try to anyway. And hey, maybe if we get big enough, maybe we'll do something like that. Okay, that could definitely help us grow if it took off. But yeah, we'll need to increase our production value a little bit, and I don't know where it'd be best. We'd obviously talk about it here on camera on YouTube, but I don't know if it'd be better to try to put that on Twitter or Facebook or what. We'll workshop that around a little bit. Let me know what you guys think. But anyway, talk to you guys later.